It is that time, the best hour on the planet, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. Welcome to the Wise Guys, the largest BYU sports live stream show in the world. Most watched collegiate sports live stream talk show on YouTube. Last week was our biggest show ever.
Yep.
With people on the stream from all over the world like they'd never been before, and we hope they all come back. Dave, Blaine, a lot's happened since we were last together.
Yeah, you just said to me when we walked into the studio today, can you believe all that's gone on in 1 week? And I said, no, I cannot believe what's gone on in 1 week. It's crazy. So we have lots to talk about. Folks who are already in the stream, in the chat, Lori from Orem. And then how about double stack blueberry Pop-Tarts? They have protein ones. People are already starting to talk about Pop-Tarts, which I love. People have turned the page and getting ready for Pop-Tarts. On Sports Nation today, we had Pop-Tarts. We started the show off with Pop-Tarts. Yeah. Because it's the Pop-Tarts Bowl for BYU. We're
all about Pop-Tarts now. Yeah.
So Pop-Tarts is not our sponsor.
No, not yet.
No. So maybe we should get them on board with the other great sponsors we have. We want to remind you that Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, by Eddie, and by Mountain America Credit Union, and distributed by the Deseret News. So watch for this week's podcast tomorrow, wherever you get your podcasts.
We invite you to subscribe to our free email at wiseguys.com. You can also watch all of our past content there. We've had 3.5, almost 4 years of interviews with the names connected to BYU in one way or the other. They're waiting for you at wiseguys.com. We'd also love you to hit the free subscribe button on our YouTube channel. That just helps us build the numbers. And, the more the numbers, the more people go, hey, you know what? I got to listen to that show. Apparently a lot of people are.
Yeah.
And so we love that. So help us build that. Tell your friends, and we'll continue to try and conquer the world.
Yeah. Beaumont, Texas is in the house to start us off. And thanks, Miss Chitty, for saying you love the show. We like that.
We do like that.
So, let us know where you're at tonight, where you're coming from. We've been hitting multiple continents every week lately, and we appreciate that. And not only do we appreciate all of you on the live stream, we appreciate folks that, maybe you're listening to this for like tomorrow or the next day, and you're on your bike someplace riding with your AirPods in and listening to the show. We love you all. We appreciate that you have supported us and allowed us to grow this thing far beyond our dreams in this 3.5 years. And it really is a family. It's the Wise Guys family. We get together every Monday night for Family Home Evening.
We are here for you, and we're glad you are here for us. We've got some really cool things we're going to talk about a bit later tonight on how we can actually get together more often and in a different format. So that's coming up. Here's what's on the show tonight. Of course, BYU football, the bowl matchup with Georgia Tech coming up after Christmas, and we'll hear from head coach Kalani Sitake about the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Right. We'll talk a little bit about the Big 12 championship game, our reaction to that, and some of our thoughts on what went wrong, why the wheels came flying off. Was there anything good that you could take from that? We'll discuss that a little bit.
Kalani's new contract, that came together since our last show. We'll talk about what that means moving forward for all aspects of BYU football.
And former Cougar superstar Bronson Kaufusi, an NFL star, from BYU's defense and from the Ravens defense. When you see Bronson Kaufusi, when he sits down next to me and you see how massive he is.
We're going to see New York Jet.
Every time I see Bronson Kaufusi, I think, that's right, he's with the Jets. I think that's what a defensive end in the NFL looks like. He still looks like he can just line up and play D-end in the National Football League. Now, he'll be here in the house sitting right next to me. And then we'll also have BYU recruiting guru, Jeff Hansen, in the house with us.
Lost in all of what went on last week was that BYU signs the biggest recruiting class in school history. So we thought, well, let's get Jeff on because he knows all of that stuff. And the Pula twins join late. What does that mean? What does that do to BYU's class?
It's big time.
Jeff knows it as well as anybody we know. And so we love having him on the show. That's coming up. He'll answer your questions if you have any for him. BYU Hoops with a big date at Madison Square Garden tomorrow night. You turn the calendar and there's something big. Now, every day, every other day, you go from the Big 12 championship game to the Madison Square Garden to the Pop-Tarts Bowl and into the Big 12. So we'll talk about the game tomorrow against Clemson. And, of course, our Relight Athlete of the Week. And you know what? We might surprise you with this one.
Yeah.
Because there's so many teams doing good things and so many athletes doing good things. And this one you might go, oh, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Well, it's always going to make sense to people. Yeah. But I love that we have multiple choices every week for great athletes and great performances that we could pick for that Relight Athlete of the Week. So you won't be surprised, but you might go, well, what about this and what about that? That just means that there's a bunch of great performances going on, and so we'll introduce you to the Relight Athlete of the Week here in just a little bit.
And then you might go, hey, I want to watch that athlete.
Yeah.
And then we'll tell you when,
where they're going to be,
and
doing
where,
what. Yeah.
and who the announcers are. So that's all coming up.
So we got Leighton in the house. We've got Drummond, Montana, of course.
The Mackies.
The Mackies are always in from Drummond. Eagle, Idaho, in the greater Boise area. I think Boise's a suburb of Eagle now, is what I think.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it used to be Eagle and Meridian were suburbs of Boise, but am I right? Isn't Boise just a suburb of Eagle now? Because
so.
Eagle is the epicenter of that valley up there. So
I just saw on the stream, and it zipped by because it's pretty active tonight, that there was the actual aisle where Pop-Tarts can be purchased in Saratoga Springs. Pop-Tarts are going to be a thing the next 3.5 weeks. Around here. Let's start with BYU football, the national rankings. The college football playoff had them at 12. That's their highest college football end of regular season ranking. We're not happy about it, but it's still where BYU hasn't been before. The AP Top 25 has them at 12, dropped them a spot, and the coaches poll has them at 13. And as we set the table for the national rankings, let's read our sponsors.
That's right. Let's start with Brady Plus.
Oh, by the way, Singapore's in the house, so now we're ready.
Now we're ready to go. Now that we got the other side of the world in the house, what a crazy week is, right? Thanks for checking in from Singapore. Brady Plus, who's been with us since the very, very beginning, provides cleaning, food service, and packaging equipment, dispensers, and service and repairs with over 150 distribution facilities across the country and over 6,000 employees. Learn more at bradyplus.com.
By our friends at Mountain America Credit Union, helping people achieve their financial dreams for over 80 years. Whether you're buying a home, planning for retirement, or managing daily expenses or Christmas bills, Mountain America has the tools, technology, and guidance to help you succeed. There's a lot of information waiting for you at macu.com, MACU.com.
And by Eddie, HR and payroll software built for small businesses. Whether you run a dental office in Spanish Fork or a construction crew in Lehigh, Eddie helps you hire, onboard, track time, and run payroll all in one place. Simple, local, reliable, built by business owners who believe people come first. See how Eddie can serve you and your team at Eddie.com. You know what? I think Eddie, like we always mention local because they are local.
Yeah.
But if you're a small business anywhere around the country and you've got ties to BYU, Eddie or a bunch of BYU guys, I'm certain they could take care of you wherever you are in the United States or abroad.
Absolutely. And we're talking about our Relight Athlete of the Week a moment ago, presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at Redmond.com. The pina colada, Redmond Relight.
It's good.
Yeah, that's my wife's favorite.
I like the strawberry lemonade one too, which I just had today when I did my early morning workout.
Did it make you feel like
before
Superman?
I did Sports Nation?
Because Diljit Taylor's like, hey, you take that, you're going to run faster, be smarter.
I think I lifted more weights because of it.
There you go.
But by the way, I went to pick up some at the store out on 800 North.
Yeah.
And Brenda said, pick up a loaf of sourdough bread. They have so much stuff in there. And I got that sourdough bread. Oh, goodness gracious, that is good. And everything they have there is organic and natural. And so, yeah, that Relight is good stuff. So, and let's not forget that Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News and Deseret.com, Utah's newspaper since 1850. They've been with us since almost the very beginning as our distribution partner.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We appreciate Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts Bowl, number 12 BYU, number 22 Georgia Tech, Saturday, December 27th. You know, before we dive into that game, and we're going to hear from Kalani in just a second, let's react first to what everyone has been reacting. And we don't want to just beat a dead horse because that horse is dead. But BYU left out of the playoff. Alabama in the playoff. Notre Dame bounced out. Miami gets in. I'm kind of exhausted by it all, but no one in Cougar Nation's happy about it.
And you know what? This is so much chaos. And I spoke with Trevor Maddich today, who's national with ESPN, their big national college football analyst, and my former teammate here at BYU. So he's always really, really good to BYU, even though he's got to be right down the line because he's got to be fair. And his take I love, and that is the problem didn't come last week. The problem was BYU all season long has been rated way too low. When they were 11-1 with their only loss on the road to the number 4 team in the country, they should have been 6, 7, 8. And then if they lost again to them, they would have dropped 1 or 2 spots. They would still be in the college football playoff. They got knocked out of the playoff.
Dropped 5 spots.
When they dropped 5 spots when they lost way back when, which was way too punitive for losing to a team that good. Because the SEC teams don't drop that far when they lose. And Alabama didn't fall out of the college football playoff. And so the lack of consistency and the bias to the SEC is real. And people know it. And Notre Dame's all upset, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. I'm glad they are, because they're making a ruckus, and people are complaining about how the whole thing went down. This was the worst ever in terms of them really not getting it right and not having a good explanation, because you can put up all of the metrics and analytics, and it's like, well, it's just because the people in the room didn't want to do it. That doesn't set well with people. And so I think this is going to usher in a larger 16-team playoff, which is what we need.
It should. They should have ushered it in this year, but they didn't. And
Tulane has no business being in this.
Even their coach admitted that.
And BYU out and Notre Dame out.
Yeah.
Right.
Or James Madison.
And I'm not discounting what a great season Tulane had. And you and I are huge fans of Jake, and
sure,
we're excited for him. They should be in it, but so should BYU and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Right. You can't be pushing teams out. And for that matter, Vanderbilt should probably be in it. Right.
Well, Rick from Farber, Missouri says he's excited for the Georgia Tech game, and that's coming up on the 27th. BYU Sports Nation Game Day starts at 11:30 a.m. Mountain on BYU TV and ESPN+. The Cougars and Yellow Jackets, 1:30 Mountain on ABC. Post-game show on the BYU TV app and ESPN+. The Yellow Jackets are 9-3 out of the ACC. They came really close to getting into the ACC championship game, and then they could have been in the college football playoff. But it is BYU and Georgia Tech. Kalani Sitake was asked about the matchup and the bowl game, and here is what he said.
Really excited about the opportunity to play in this bowl game, the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and we are excited to accept the bid to play into it and officially, and to know who our opponent is, Georgia Tech. We have a lot of respect for them. I have a lot of respect for Coach Brent Key. He's also a guy that's coaching at his alma mater like I am, and so I believe a couple decades ago he was a GA at Georgia Tech and I was a GA at BYU, and now you look at us now, we're both leading our teams and get to meet in Orlando. It's a wonderful place. I know Orlando really well. It's home of my in-laws. So my wife is from Orlando area. She's a Polk County girl, as they say down there, and she's from Dundee and went to Haines City High. So still have a lot of connections there. I have a lot of family there in that area too. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and looking forward to the matchup. Georgia Tech, I see a lot of things in their program that's very similar to ours. I know that they are tough and they play really hard, and they're not afraid to run their quarterback as well. Well-balanced team, I think well-coached, and you look at what they do fundamentally well, it's everything. And so I'm looking forward to the matchup, and we know it's going to require us being at our best, and just looking forward to the opportunity to play again with these seniors and to play again as a team and to do it in a wonderful setting. I think it'll be warmer there than it is here in Provo, Utah, so we'll be excited for that during the holidays, and just looking forward to all of it, all the festivities and everything that goes into a bowl game. And we know that Pop-Tarts Bowl does it the right way, and we're really excited about the matchup and excited to play again as a team. So
there's Kalani Sitake. Let me just tell you, there's 2 different scenarios we're watching here, right? Notre Dame pouts and they says, we'll not play anybody, and they could have played BYU. We'll talk about that in a sec. And they say, we're taking our ball and going home, and they're taking a beating on social media. BYU is just as disappointed of not being in the college football playoff.
And more deserving than Notre Dame.
More deserving. And they turn around and they go, okay, you know what? We're going to show respect to Georgia Tech. We're going to excite our fans because we get to go play together as a team. We're going to play on ABC. We're going to play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, in the second richest bowl in program history after last year's Alamo Bowl. And you feed off his excitement. Instead of the grumpiness of we got hosed, you hear Kalani going, you know what, we were disappointed about that. He didn't even say it in that. He's just like, let's go. This is what's next. We're playing Georgia Tech.
And that's the way you work behind the scenes to fix the system, right? And to not have that bias. And instead of saying we're going to take our ball and go home. And the fact of the matter is, BYU has a better resume than Notre Dame. They have much better strength of schedule. And they went out and won a regular season conference championship, tied for that, and played in the conference championship game, played an extra game. And we're much more deserving than Notre Dame to be in that. And yet Kalani has every reason to go, man, why weren't we ranked higher going into that playoff game? We've lost twice. BYU has the best 2 losses in the country. It's not even close. They lost twice to the same team that's ranked number 4 in the country and has a chance to go win a national championship. That's their only 2 losses. And they took care of business. And they didn't have any bad. They lost bad. No. They got beat up, right? Mm-hmm. But they didn't lose to a bad team. Alabama lost to a 5-7 Florida State team and has 3 losses. So they have every reason to be upset, and they are upset. It's not fair. They got to figure out a way to fix it behind the scenes. But you know what? Now it's time to move forward with positivity
about it.
And be grateful that the Pop-Tarts Bowl is excited to have you. It would have been great to play Notre Dame. What a game that would have been.
Yeah. It
would have been the first and second team out of the college football playoff. But go make the best of it and make sure that these seniors have a great experience. Make sure that the underclassmen get developed in these extra weeks of practice. I mean, Notre Dame's thrown away extra weeks of practice, chance to build culture for next year.
Yeah, because
all kinds of things.
Ego got hurt.
So it's just a bad look.
Now, Kalani was asked about Bear's health, and he said Bear will be fine for the game. He's a fast healer. Bear's injury, as we'll talk about in a bit, was really the difference maker against Texas Tech, getting hurt on that opening drive. And then he just wasn't the same. BYU is going to be the home team in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Tickets are on sale right now at BYUtickets.com. We're going to have more on Georgia Tech, obviously, in the coming weeks. And we'll also talk about it with Bronson Kaufusi coming up here in just a few minutes. I do think that if Notre Dame could redo, we all like redos. You know, mm-hmm. it's like taking a second shot on the golf course. It seems to always be better than the first one.
Right.
But I have a feeling that they would have approached this a little bit differently due to the beating that they're taking on social media. That doesn't mean they're less arrogant or all that stuff. I just have a feeling that they had no idea that they were going to become a mockery, which is what they've become.
And here's the thing. Nobody disagrees with them that they probably should have been in based on the feedback that the College Football Playoff Committee gave them for weeks coming up. They were ranked ahead of Miami. Mm-hmm. Then neither team played, and they flipped them. They expected to be in because they were in a position to be in, and then it's like the rug got pulled out from under them. Nobody is disagreeing. What everybody's saying is, so it is what it is. Work behind the scenes to get it fixed. Go play in a bowl game. Go represent your university. Like, handle it the way Kalani's handling it.
And they went the opposite way, and that's what they're getting now.
And I think they've been surprised that more people aren't supporting them. But what they're missing is people are supporting that they should have been in, but they're not supporting the way they're handling it.
College football rankings: Indiana's 1, Ohio State's 2, Georgia's 3, Texas Tech is 4. They get a first-round bye in the playoff. Oregon's at 5, then Ole Miss at 6, Texas A&M's at 7, Oklahoma is at 8. Alabama stayed at 9 despite getting blown out in their championship game. Miami jumped to number 10, which got them in. Notre Dame's 11. BYU's number 12. And right behind BYU is Texas. Now, just for a second, because we like to do this, let's just go back to last summer for a moment.
Yeah, exactly.
When Retzlaff left, and we don't know who the quarterback is. We're thinking it's Hillstead. And that's where the team is. And then you just heard where BYU is in the college football playoff rankings at the end of the regular season. There's Alabama, Miami, Notre Dame, BYU, and Texas.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenal season.
Who's who in college football. There's a couple of upstarts in that top 12. Who'd have thunk Indiana would be this good?
Yeah, that's the beauty of NIL.
Right. And they are a really good football team.
Texas Tech, the beauty of NIL.
Hey, did you see Indiana's quarterback Mendoza do his interview after their win?
I heard about it.
I was like, is that dude a return missionary, former AP? Like, what's going on?
He's going to win the Heisman.
Yeah,
at least he should.
What a kid. Holy cow. And then Texas Tech's not normally there, right?
No, but they've never been there.
But I got news for you. There's a couple of new sheriffs in town.
Yeah.
With NIL money, things change. The problem is that the Alabamas and the Texases and the Ohio States of the world don't have a monopoly on these kids anymore. Because there's other options for them now.
People ask me, how's NIL working for BYU? I look down here, they're number 12.
They're working great.
It's working great.
And you know what? Let's I'm going to say this once more, we're going to put it away. Even with the loss to Texas Tech, they have a better resume than Notre Dame, Miami, Alabama, and Oklahoma.
Yeah. If you're going by the qualifications, yeah.
If it did it the old way, when they had the 4-team BCS, it was all computer. It was like multiple computer things put into us, and it just kicked it out. BYU would be ranked way higher. But the human element came into it, and the human element had bias. There's no question. What was Harlan doing in the room?
He was only in there because one guy left.
But he was in the room. Did he do anything to defend the Big 12?
Probably not. I'd like to think he did, but it doesn't look like he did.
And I know I said I was going to leave
But we weren't in the room.
But one more thing. One more thing. And people ask me this. So what do we do? You know what we do? We root like crazy for Texas Tech to go win the national championship.
Yeah, I like Texas Tech because they're classy. Their head coach is a class act. Their fans were nice to our fans.
Yes.
And I heard plenty of examples down at the game. Some guys in my ward just got back from the game. They said, you know what? They were cool to us. And you know what? So many fans aren't that I gravitate towards those who are. I'm like, you know what? I'll pull for you guys.
And these two coaches really respect each other.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It seems like there's a new, I'm telling you, it's not going to, you look at who's coming back for the two teams, for Texas Tech and BYU, they're going to be right in the same position again next year. They're going to be two of the best teams in this league, right? So how nice is it that the two teams that are set up for long-term success in today's college football have had this really good rivalry formed this year.
Yeah.
And they're both really, really good in basketball again this year too.
They don't play each other in the regular season next year.
So this is a very good rivalry. That's a rivalry steeped in good play and respect, which I love. So there's that. But what does the Big 12 need to do in football? In this postseason, Kansas State's opted out, not for the same reason Notre Dame. They don't even have enough kids to practice, evidently. Right. And their coach just retired.
And Iowa State's opted out. And
Iowa State's not going to because Matt Campbell has taken the Penn State job. Yeah. And by the way, there's a Penn State fan here on the chat today that said, hey, we both got what we wanted. Respect both ways. So we like that. But Texas Tech needs to go out and prove it. They need to bury people in the first couple of games and get into that national championship game and win. BYU needs to dominate Georgia Tech. Any Big 12 teams out there need to play well, because if Texas Tech wins the national championship, then everybody can say, see, idiots in the decision room, Texas Tech is the best football team in the country. Yeah, BYU's only two losses were to the best team in the country. And look at what BYU did to Georgia Tech. That's how you get respect. Do you know why the basketball team, BYU is number 10 in the country, to the fourth highest ranked team in the conference right now? Yeah. That's because the Big 12 goes out and they win national championships and they play in Final Fours and they dominate, and it's the best college and so respect for the league in basketball because they've earned it on the floor.
You got to win the big ones in football, and they needed to win last week. And they didn't.
So this league now, moving forward, everybody ought to be huge Texas Tech fans for them to win the national championship, and that can change the narrative next year.
The college football playoff schedule, they start Friday, December 19th. Alabama's at Oklahoma. The winner plays Indiana. On Saturday, the 20th, James Madison at Oregon. The winner faces Texas Tech. Tulane and Jake Retzlaff will play a rematch at Ole Miss.
Go Tulane.
And the winner will face Georgia. That's a tough road. And then
the second game, good luck, Ray.
Miami and Texas A&M, which I think is actually a really good game.
Should be.
The winner there will play Ohio State. The Big 12 has 8 teams in the postseason. Iowa State, Kansas State opted out. Kansas, some of those other schools that were 5 and 7, they probably could have but decided not to. But there's a pretty good slate of these Big 12 group of 8, we'll call them, going to the postseason. There's a couple of games where I'm like, I want to see that.
Yeah. First of all, we already talked about BYU Georgia Tech, which is the premier game in the Pop-Tarts Bowl for the league, really. Because remember, Georgia Tech for part of the year was ranked in the top 10. The quarterback got hurt. They dropped off a little bit. He's back.
Yeah, they won their first 10 games.
Yeah, they were really, really good. And let me tell you, the Haynes King, their quarterback, is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's a weapon.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him a lot.
So, number 21, Houston, is going to go against LSU in the Texas Bowl on December 27th.
I'm interested in that.
It's a really interesting one.
It's a huge game for Houston.
Yeah, and Houston, we all still have questions. Like, did Houston just play an easy schedule? They go out and beat LSU, they answer a lot of questions.
Yeah, and they launch into the postseason and the offseason.
Yeah.
I don't think Lane Kiffin's going to be making any of the play calling.
Right.
So LSU comes in a wounded duck, and Houston's got something to play for. I do like this one. TCU at number 6 against number 16, USC in the Alamo Bowl. I thought BYU was going to play USC in the Alamo Bowl, and I would have taken that in a heartbeat. Yeah. But then the notion of Notre Dame and the Pop-Tarts, I'm like, okay, that sounds good. And Georgia Tech sounds fine too, but The Alamo Bowl has got a pretty good one. That'll be one I want to watch.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. TCU is a very dangerous team, not ranked right now. If TCU can go out and upset number 16 USC, then people are going to go, oh, wait a minute, BYU beat them. They beat,
or at least we will.
Yeah, Arizona State against Duke in the Sun Bowl on December 31st. How about Duke?
They looked good the other night, beating Virginia.
So they just won the ACC championship and they didn't get in the college football playoff.
No, because they had 5 losses.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Number 15, Utah gets a bye in the Las Vegas Bowl against Nebraska in the afternoon on New Year's Eve.
So New Year's Eve in the afternoon is a good time. The Vegas Bowl is in a great stadium now, right?
Yeah, Vegas.
But come on, you really? You play Nebraska?
Yeah.
I would have much rather seen Utah against SC in the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah.
How did that not happen?
I don't know. Texas Tech is going to be in the Orange Bowl on January 1st. Cincinnati and Navy in the Liberty Bowl January 2nd. That last check, that game's ago. And then Arizona against SMU in the Holiday Bowl, which is January 2nd this year.
Yeah, and that one, Arizona, wow, they really came on.
Good.
And they played good football.
That will be a fun game.
Arizona's really good on defense, and I love Noah Fafita at quarterback. So that's a fun one. That'll be a good game.
Bronson Kaufusi is going to join us in a couple minutes. Before we get to him, let's look at this football game we just watched. Texas Tech beat BYU 34-7. They're in Arlington. What we liked... We like that fast start.
Great first drive right down the field.
14 play,
mix of run and pass. They look fantastic. 7-zip. LJ Martin, 19 carries for 76 yards and a touchdown, which is about as good as anybody rushed against that number 1 rush defense in the country.
A lot better than LJ had the first time against him. He's a little more healthy. The strong showing by Cougar Nation, we always salute. The tailgate at Globe Life Field the night before, and then the sea of blue in a Texas Tech home game. That is what it is. But BYU was well. They just didn't get anything to cheer about after the first drive. But a strong showing from Cougar Nation. Here's what we didn't like: 4 turnovers. In the 2 games against the Red Raiders, 7 BYU turnovers, none for Texas Tech. That's how you lose to maybe the best team in the country, certainly a top 5 team, twice.
Yeah, you can't turn the ball over. And they turn the ball over as much against them as everybody else in the league combined, which is crazy. And it wasn't just the turnovers. We talked about this on Sports Nation today. The turnovers in both games were what we like to call terminal turnovers. When you turn the ball over in your own red zone, in the red zone for the other team, BYU turned it over inside at the 11 in this game. They turned it over twice inside the 20. They failed at a fake punt at the 30. They just kept giving Texas Tech short fields. And there was a period in that fourth quarter where they scored 10 points, bam, bam, like in a period of like 2 minutes, and had 9 yards of total offense doing it. Remember, they got the ball on the 11 on a turnover and scored on the next play. 1 play, 11 yards, touchdown. Then they got the ball deep in BYU territory. BYU knocked them back 2 yards and they kicked a field goal. 10 points in less than 2 minutes on 9 yards of total offense. When you give a team like Texas Tech that, and then they had 5 scores on a total of 109 yards of total offense. In a football game with no turnovers, it's usually going to take you close to 300 yards of offense or more to get 5 scores. They got it on 109 yards of offense.
Yeah.
Because BYU just kept giving him the ball so deep.
There wasn't a turnover in that game until 4 minutes left in the third quarter, and then the wheels came off.
Under 4 minutes, the score was 13-7, and BYU had the ball.
Yeah. One big play, you're ahead. But
then turnover over on downs. 6 straight series of giving Texas Tech the ball deep in BYU territory in the game. The wheels just all fell off at the same time.
They spotted the wheels in Amarillo.
And people say, well, they were just so much better. I'm telling you right now, if Ohio State plays Texas Tech in the national championship game and they turn the ball over 4 times deep in their own territory, Texas Tech will run them out of the building. Yeah. They will lose by 20.
They're that good, and when you turn it over like BYU did, that's BYU was that bad, especially in that category. Bear Bachmeier twists his ankle on the first drive. Right there, the next play after he twisted his ankle, LJ Martin ran in the touchdown to get a 7-0 lead. He was never the same since. Here's a question from Saratoga Springs on the stream wondering why there weren't more passes to Chase and Parker. Was it Bear's injury or the game plan? A couple of things. The game plan changed when Bear got hurt. He couldn't throw off his plant foot, and the running game all of a sudden was out.
Right.
And that's what Bear does. And then he was a sitting duck. Oh, and by the way, he was playing the best defense in the Big 12.
Right. It's a good time for us to do our Cougar Board question of the week, since it's so related to what's going on. People are asking on the chat and what we're talking about right now. And if you're not familiar with Cougar Board, it's the largest online community of BYU fans with thousands of posts every day. This question comes from Dilbert, one of their insider subscribers, and he asks, that first drive looked so good for our offense, and then things got harder. Do you think that was mainly due to Bear's ankle injury, or did Texas Tech make adjustments to stop what was working for us? If the difference was Texas Tech's adjustments, what did they change? And they really didn't change a bunch after that.
They didn't have to do as much.
No, because BYU's plan, what you don't do against Texas Tech with the top pass rushing front four in the country, is just drop straight back and throw pocket passes. Nobody does that against them, right? So BYU's plan was to move Bear around, roll him to the right, roll him to the left, play action, roll him out, bootleg him, run him in the run game, run LJ in the run game. That was the plan to keep them off balance. And when that wasn't available, when you're just dropping back and trying to throw it against those guys, good luck.
Yeah.
Right? And then the other thing is Bear, when you make him do that, then he actually looks like an 18 or 19-year-old freshman, right? Because that part of a quarterback's game, the ability to just stand there and read defenses while you got a pass rush in your face and deliver dimes in small windows down the field, that is the last thing that comes through experience for a quarterback. What you do with a young quarterback is you move him around, get him on the edge, limit his reads. BYU's done a masterful job of that all year. When that was out the door, he looked like a 19-year-old freshman.
Yeah. and you know what? You're no match for those guys.
Right. Because they're very good. And we got to give Texas Tech. I just talked about giving it away. In the first game, I feel like BYU gave them 3 turnovers. In this game, they took 4 turnovers from BYU. They were aggressive. It's one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the country. Kalani has said multiple times he thinks it's the best team in the country. So they earned those turnovers. They forced those turnovers. And BYU, with Bear in the situation he was in, they're in a tough situation.
Keith on the stream says, tuning in from Lubbock, my number 1 team, BYU, lost to my number 2 team, Texas Tech. It was a very fun experience. Walked away a winner regardless of the outcome. I'm excited for the Raiders to go deep into the college football playoff. We're with you. We're with you on that, Keith.
Yep.
Let's do, as we bring in Bronson, let's do our 3 keys to beat Texas Tech. One, you said turnover margin, even or plus, and it was 4-0 Texas Tech.
Yeah, and then I'm going to count the 2 turnover on downs deep in your own territory as 6 turnovers.
Oh, man. Okay.
So I don't even know if there's a minus big enough that I can give BYU on that one.
Stuff the Texas Tech run game. They went 41 for 151 and a touchdown, 3.9 yards per carry. Nothing great there, but, man, they gashed our guys up front. When they needed 3, it seemed like they got 4.
Yeah, and it was and on quick turns, it's always tough. Honestly, if you would have asked me 41 rushes, 159, 3.9, I would have said that's fine. That's good enough, but not when you're working on 30-yard fields and 20-yard fields and 11-yard fields, for the offense. So I'm not going to give them a minus on that one because 3.9 yards a carry is about as low as they've had all season long, including the first game we had against them. So I'm not going to give them a minus on that one. I'm just going to give them an okay.
An okay. And then thirdly, be aggressive on offense early, and they were 14-play, 90-yard drive and a touchdown on the first possession, and then they weren't.
But they weren't. And when I say early, I mean. I feel like they needed to get out and score some points in that first half. And as we mentioned, with under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, the score was 13-7.
Yeah.
And so 7 points scored. They needed to be more aggressive, and I get it. They were limited by what happened to Bear and but the turnovers are what broke the game wide open. If they don't turn the ball or just hold on to it and punt it, they probably end up losing 21-10 or something like that, but
who knows? You might have put pressure on them.
Yeah,
maybe they botch a punt.
Who knows? But when you turn it over 4 times and really 6, if I'm counting turnovers on downs in your own territory, that just makes it look like you just got absolutely killed, and frankly, you did because you turned it over.
Look at that bicep in our shot right there. That's who we're going to use right there.
It's like, Bronson, before
Our
you
first guest
before you
tonight-
came, I was telling people you look like a defensive end.
Our first guest tonight was a defensive menace over his 4 years at BYU before he was drafted by the Ravens in the third round of the 2016 NFL Draft. Our pleasure to welcome back to the Wise Guys, Bronson Kaufusi. Good to see you.
Hey, it's good to be here. Thanks, guys.
It's always good to have you in here.
I love
You're
it.
big, giant. You were mean on the field, but you're such the nicest guy. How do you blend that?
I blame my dad.
You blame your dad? Wait, what about your mom?
Oh yeah, she's competitive. I've been racing her like on my birthday every year. Is
that right?
Yes, yeah, she's so competitive.
Hey, what'd you think of that Big 12 championship game? Let's get your thoughts as we kick things off.
Yeah, I felt like we started off great. Honestly, I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then I felt like once the turnover started to happen, that's where it just kind of got away from us. So it was just tough to, catch back up.
Have you ever been in a game that you've played in where you're in the game and then all of a sudden you just can't take care of the ball and the wheels fall off? Have you been in one like that at any
My
level?
senior year at BYU against Utah, we were 28-0.
That's right.
In the bowl game, yeah, against Utah, yeah.
And that was kind of the same thing, like pick sixes and the ball just
Yeah.
couldn't hold on to the ball. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
To me, it was the reverse of the Kansas State game last year.
Oh,
Do you remember in
yeah.
that 2 minute period right before halftime, right? Like all of a sudden Kansas State couldn't hold on to the ball, and next thing you know, BYU was just massacring them. And BYU wasn't that much better than Kansas State, but that night they were, right?
Turnovers.
So turnovers are just killers, aren't they?
Especially when they lead to points. Like turnover and how fast they lead to points matters. Yeah.
Bronson, how significant was it to be in that game in just the third year in the Big 12, the third year as a power team in a power conference? How significant was it that BYU was even in that game?
Oh, it's huge. It's massive. Just because you look at the NIL landscape as well, being in that game helps on multiple fronts as a program, but then also on the recruiting front, which is kind of where my mind always goes is, okay, we can go out and get great players and they'll come and we've shown them that, hey, we can go play in the championship. So I think it'll be huge for us moving forward, being able to get great recruits.
Yeah.
What does BYU need to do now to take it? When I say to the next level, I mean they're already in the Big 12 championship game, which is remarkable. But to be favored to win those games and to be considered, hey, this is a every year college football playoff kind of a team. Do they have that potential to be able to be in that group that they go, yeah, they should be in this thing every year? And what's it going to take to get to that point?
I think so. I really do think so. Just because, for me, I go down to the very root of it, which is, okay, how does the recruiting funnel look, and how can we build from there? I know one thing that was tough. It was, okay, if one of our best players goes down, can we reload? Mm-hmm. And I think we are going to see that catch up to us here with just our recruiting funnel, where we're going to have 2-3 deep that are all going to be stellar players and can go in and make a difference.
Think of the difference between just 4 years ago and the trajectory of 5-7, then 11-2, and then 11-1, and in the Big 12 championship game. Didn't win it, but next year the next step forward is to go to that game with just a little bit more and win that.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be awesome. I think we have the right trajectory, like you just said. And I think being able to be a team where people see you on their schedule and strikes fear in them, that's what we want.
Yeah, that is nice. So defensively, you played on the defensive side of the ball. Where would you like to see this team get better? They've been really solid the last couple of years, a top ranked defense. Is there an area where you go, man, if we could just get better here, we could be dominating?
Yeah, I think for me personally, when I'm watching the games, I like to watch obviously the front seven, and they have had a lot of turnovers. But I think if we can, when we're around the quarterback, if we can get the ball out more on those turnovers, because you can have, I think BYU's ranked maybe top 50 in sacks, and it's just a stat that I keep track of, right?
Sure.
But if we can take, even, I don't know, 10% of those. That's 3. If they have 30 sacks on the year and they have 3 of those sacks turned into turnovers that lead to points, I mean, even if you have 6 of those, so 20%, like that adds up over time. And so I think if we can take sacks, turn them into turnovers, I think that would be really exciting, or points. I think that would be a big thing for me.
Follow up to that one. In this game against Texas Tech, Baron Morton's not known as a like crazy footwork guy, but he does have escapability. There were multiple times in that game where BYU dialed up a blitz or a stunt, and somebody came free, and they had a beat on the quarterback, and that quarterback made a miss and bought time, got rid of the ball, and either came back to the line of scrimmage and played or completed a ball downfield. What is the key? Because you've come off the edge as a defensive end when all of a sudden you're free and it's just you and the quarterback. What's the key to making that play and not missing on the quarterback? Because it seems like BYU's done that a bunch this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors, honestly, that go into that. But I think a few that come to mind are, knowing where the pressure is coming from and knowing on this particular play call where the quarterback could escape. Where's his easiest way out? Because that's probably where he's going to go, because he's going to escape from the pressure. And so knowing that, and if I'm coming off the edge, and if I come free, just completely free, I have to be able to go back to my fundamentals, which are, okay, I need to go get that, I need to go get that shoulder. Instead of maybe cut it off a little bit too, steep to get in front of him a little bit, I need to go to that shoulder, because quarterbacks, you have to know their tendencies as well. Like, does he spin out and go out the back, or does he come up? Does he, it's all of that. But you have to do all of that in a matter of milliseconds. So it's just,
I think people think, oh, there's just a standard thing you do. This is what you always do. What you're saying is, oh, no. You need to know that. Does he always step up?
Yeah.
Does he spin back out and reverse? Like, what does he do? So when you're coming downhill, you're thinking, this guy usually does this, so I'm going to aim here. Yeah. And then of course, you got to break down and make the play.
Yeah. And when you're there making the play, from good to great here, good is make the play, great is get the ball out. And that's where you start to, affect the game and the record of the team as a defensive player that's going to be in the backfield a lot.
Former Cougar Bronson Kaufusi is with us on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus, Mountain America Credit Union, and by Eddie. How significant is Kalani Sitake's contract extension with the reported financial support for his staff and for the NIL coffers? Now that we had a week to digest, how big of a deal is it?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, I think it's awesome. He's our guy. I didn't play for Kalani, but I know him, and I've helped him, with things. And I think he's just such a great, not just a great coach, but just a great man that, shapes these young men into who they're meant to be when they're done playing this game. And so I think having that long-term vision is so important. And it makes you want to play hard for a guy like that. Like, as a player, like when you have a guy like that, you want to play hard for him just because he's got your back.
Look at these records from the last 2 seasons. Indiana and Oregon, they're the best at 24-2. Ohio State is third at 26-3. Notre Dame's 4 at 24-5. Then there's Georgia at 23-4, and then there's BYU at 6 at 22-4.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Listen to those names, right?
Yeah. It's culture too. When I think of Kalani, it's just Kalani culture. Like that's the in between part of what he's built there. And I think it's hard to. I mean, you're going to win a lot when you have the right culture.
We keep hearing players, because the recruiting class, they just landed the top recruiting class in the history of BYU that's going to be coming. And last year was a really good recruiting class. Pula brothers flipped from Utah to BYU. And everybody says, well, this culture, I want to be in this culture. Like this, what is it, the secret sauce to this culture that Kalani's created that everybody's saying, yeah, that's where I have to be. I want to be in that culture. What are they talking about?
You know what they're really talking about, and this is for me looking at it with my experience as a player, is you look at it and you feel championship culture. What is that? Well, it's when I can go join a team and they want me to bring my talents and for me to be the best that I can be. And so players can feel that when they get around the team and they visit and things, instead of, me going to a place where, hey, you're going to do it this way, and you're still going to win that way. But you might not win as much because, you don't get to bring who you are. Like, I feel like Kalani wants each player to be the best that they can be. And whatever that is, I mean, he's all for it. So bring your personality, bring anything that you have with you, and let's make you great.
BYU doesn't get everybody, but of the kids who actually come to campus on their recruiting visits, it seems like they get most of them once they've come and tasted just what you've described.
Yeah. No, I think, it's so vital being able to be around the people, because it's who you're going to spend time with. And as an athlete, you're going to be around, you're trying to see what is the culture of the team. Is it fun? Is it exciting? Are the players, when they come in, are they excited to be there? Right? Because there are teams where the culture is not like that. And so you want to be a part of something like that. And then you have parents that come and, they see, oh, wow, they feel something different here. And it's just that family culture that has been built that really people walk away remembering. And that's why I think a lot of players end up coming.
Yeah.
Kalani has a few phrases. He says, love and learn. So he talks about this is a program built on principles of Jesus Christ and loving one another and learning. Mm-hmm. He talks about stay humble and stay hungry, right? Mm-hmm. So he's got these catchphrases. But I want to take that one, love and learn. Some people misinterpret that like, how can you be a tough football team and have that as your theme? And how can you say, hey, we got to be Christ-like and we got love and be tough guys in football?
Yeah.
But somehow he's mixed those two together, and they have the reputation as one of the most physical teams in college football. How is he doing that?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I think when you say love and learn, it's, you would think like, oh, yeah, there's going to be a bunch of nice guys out there. And it's like, well.
A bunch of return missionaries.
Yeah, a bunch of return missionaries, right? They're waking up those hamstrings. But I think it's, and that's something that I had to learn too, right? Even as a player, coming home from my mission and just growing up, right? With my dad was a football coach and I was always a nice guy. He taught me to be that nice guy, but I love it because it's the nice guys you have to worry about, because if the nice guy draws a line in the sand and says, this is it, they're committed. And so that's what I think love is being committed. And I think Kalani helps players be committed to, hey, when we walk across the white lines, we're going to be physical. We're going to be tough. We're going to be feared. And this is the game that we play. And so, which, to me, it's, man, there's a lot of love there, because I have to show up for the guy next to me. The coaches have to show up for us. Like, everyone's showing up for each other. And so, but we're showing up in a way where this is what we are called to do. And this is our job. So we're going to go do it at a high level.
So love the game, love each other, respect the game, and play at a high level, and then respect your opponent, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Big
absolutely.
12 Coach of the Year for Kalani.
Yeah.
Offensive Player of the Year, LJ Martin. Freshman of the Year, Bear Bachmeier. First team, all Big 12, LJ Martin, Jack Kelly, Tanner Wall, Bruce Mitchell. Second team, Will Farron, Parker Kingston. All those folks are products of the man at the top. And that's Kalani. Let's talk about the bowl matchup, because now all those guys they got 3 weeks to get ready for Georgia Tech in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. What do you think of that matchup?
Oh, that's going to be a good matchup. I had a bunch of buddies that I played with in the NFL texting me, all went to Georgia Tech.
Oh, is that right? What are they saying?
Yeah, they're like, they're giving me a hard time, saying, hey, we're gonna kick your butt and all that. But I know that. I was like, oh man, they don't know what they're in for. But they're
about to find out.
Like
they're about to find out.
Yeah, they don't know, but they're about to find out. Right.
In a game like this, and both of you were in bowl games where there was a long break, but you want to stay intense and all that. For Bear, it's good because he can get healthy in this break. But how did you manage time between the last game and a bowl game?
You know what? I was studying for finals. I remember doing a lot of studying, but no, I felt like, for me, as far as the preparation goes for the bowl games, I felt like it was kind of like this is the statement I'm making going into the next year.
Yeah.
And so that was the mindset of, I'm going to prepare the best I prepared. I'm going to get as healthy as I can. And when I go out there and play in the bowl game, I'm going to make a statement, and it's going to be the foundation I'm going to build off of for next year. So I think for me, that's how I viewed it.
I would think that's how the returners would view it. And then maybe for the guys like Jack Kelly, it's one last chance to leave an impression. And you're on ABC. You're not like lost on the TV networks. You're just right there in front of everybody.
Yeah, it's awesome. That is a really fun part is, for those guys that are going to get that opportunity to go on to the next level, it is a great, because people are watching. I mean, they watch everything, but I mean, to be able to play against a good team, and you're going to go up against other guys that are, most likely draftable and could play at the next level, it's a great opportunity to show what you can do. So, I mean,
what do you think about these guys that opt out? Like, I get it, I guess, if you're first round draft pick, although Colorado last year, you had, potential, Heisman Trophy winner, and he didn't opt out. I actually respected that. But what do you think about some of these guys going, I'm not going to play in a bowl game?
Yeah. It does kind of kill the bowl game energy a little bit when your whole team's on out there. Right. With Colorado, did those players take out like an insurance policy or something to be able to?
I think they did.
I think they did something. But
you remember that Deion just said, no, we don't do that. We're playing. Yeah. Everybody played.
Yeah,
and they didn't play great, but I really respected that.
Yeah, I respect it too, because you've been battling all year, and now like you're gonna not go play in the game. I get it's that's tough, because the mentality is, no, we play anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Those guys going to that game, the game was sold out. 8 million people watched it, most watched bowl game of the non-playoff games. So there's a reason to show up and do it. If it's just about yourself, and you can justify self stuff all the time, right?
Yeah.
But Deion sent his guys out there in front of a full stadium. BYU whooped them, but more people saw it, huge paydays, and it didn't hurt their draft stock, I don't think, of anybody.
Yeah. No, yeah. And I think it's just an opportunity to show what you can do. And if you're not a first rounder, it's, they kind of already know kind of the first rounders at this point, right? But if you're a guy that's a bubble guy, and you take the opportunity, you can make a splash and then ride that into the different things that follow that, which are the All-American games and all of that stuff. So there's my boy Tyka.
I was telling Tyka to come over. Tyka, come over here,
buddy. Over here. What do you guys
have? Everyone, Uncle Blaine, come in.
Come here. Yeah, Blaine's our neighbor.
Hey, buddy. This is my guy right here. This is Tyka. And he's going to – what position are you going to play when you get – Defense. He already knows he's going to play defense, so, yeah.
You like BYU's chances in the Pop-Tarts Bowl? Yeah, I agree. Yep. Good answer.
And this is like – I don't know what generation of football this is, because I played with Bronson's dad and his uncle and all those guys.
Well, it's four then.
This is right here. This is the next generation.
He is.
Now the Kaufusi guy's going to play some football, right, Tyka?
You and Foster.
So tell everybody all over the world, hello from the Kaufusis.
Hello.
There you go.
Merry Christmas.
All right, buddy.
Awesome. Hey, 5 questions for Bronson's presented by Strategy Square. Let Chantel help your business grow through social media. Learn how at strategysquare.co. So tonight, you ready to reveal your top 5 BYU games?
Ooh. My personal top 5 or just overall?
Your just favorite games of BYU in history. They don't have to be ones you played in.
Yeah.
Your favorite ones ever.
And
we don't have to do them in order, right?
Yeah.
You can just name 5.
But you can save the best one for last, because you probably know what that is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I do know a little bit of my BYU football history for sure. So
I'm sure you do.
I mean, you have both those holiday bowls. That's 80
and
that was McMahon, and then 84.
Oh yeah,
the national championship.
So national championship.
So both of those are got to be up there.
SMU and national championship. Yes,
those have to be up there.
Okay.
And then I would say, just because I've read books about it, and my uncle played in it, and he made a play on the goal line in this game. It was the Miami game in 91.
Oh yeah.
Miami.
Yep.
So that's a game I know of for sure. And then, I mean, this is for me, you're going to the Utah BYU era.
Right.
Yeah.
So I start to think about the games that I watched. I've watched so many, but the 2 of them that I was at, live, it was back to Harleen. I was there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then I was also there for 4th and 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Collie. That was
He just named 5. Those are all epic.
Yeah, does that count?
Games.
Okay, am I there? I don't know. I don't know.
What's the favorite BYU game you ever played in personally?
You know what? It's kind of interesting because for me, honestly, well, there's 2, and they're both in my senior year. And it was the first game against Nebraska because that was crazy because Taysom got hurt.
Yeah.
You know, Tanner comes in, throws a Hail Mary, we win the game. They hadn't been beat in a home opener in like 30 years against Nebraska.
Dave and I were there.
Yeah, that was an amazing game, but it was so great. But your heart was broken a little bit because of Taysom. Yeah, so that was a great game, but it was just like, oh yeah, that was tough. But then honestly, like outside of that, my senior year game, it was against Fresno, but that game was a big one for me just because it was the first time that in that 4-year span, I believe, where we won all our home games.
Oh, yeah.
And it had to happen for a while. So that was one of our goals as seniors, as captains. Was like, hey, we want to win every home game and not lose at home.
Protect LaBelle's house.
Yeah. And that was a big part of, and we actually did it, which was awesome. And those home games, I felt like those were always my best games that year, making plays.
Do you have a favorite basketball game that you played in?
Oh, I love playing against Gonzaga.
Yeah.
I love it.
They did love that.
Because they didn't love it because you used to beat the crap out of their centers. So take us back to that game because people forget that you played both sports at BYU and you have one of the greatest upsets and so yeah, you loved playing against the Zags.
Yeah.
Right?
I just it's kind of like in football when you it's different. Football and basketball are so different because, when you're going to go play against a team like Gonzaga, who's a highly ranked basketball team, it's interesting because, it's just a different, how you change the game for yourself personally. It's just different than in football, how you change the game. And you have to use your energy and emotion different. And so for me with the basketball, I knew my role and that was, when I go against them, it's just to show like there was no fear. And so I was always super physical with them to kind of like set a tone like, hey, we're going to be here all night. Like, let's go. We're not going to back down.
Like a brick wall.
Yeah, we're going to compete.
Hey, I'll be here all night.
Yeah.
So who I'm trying to remember who the center was that you played against. Up there.
Olenek.
Oh, that's right. Olenek. Kelly Olenek. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good player. I saw him at the Jazz. He's playing on the Jazz.
No, he's really good. And you kind of gave him all he could deal with physically, didn't you?
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I loved it.
That's all good stuff.
How often do we have somebody in here that played basketball and football at BYU?
Often.
And at a really high level?
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. 5 questions presented by Strategy Square. We thank Bronson. Give Hillary and the kids our best for the holiday season. By the way, what did Hillary think of the soccer team and the way they finished?
Oh man, we watched all the games and oh man, when they were in that, we were watching it. When they were kicking those PKs.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a goalie, right? She played goalie at BYU. So she's watching it, and it was, wow, that was the most I think we've ever seen. But we couldn't keep our eyes off of it.
It was an amazing run just to win the Big 12 for the first time and then get into the NCAA tournament. And the goalie, she was on the show. She was phenomenal, coming out of nowhere. Yeah. It's a great goalie story. So I figure your wife loved that.
Yeah. And Hillary was an All-American goaltender, right?
She was a great goalie. Yeah,
she was great. And she's just recovering from ACL reconstruction.
You know what? Flag football was calling her name.
She got her playing football.
She was making plays out there.
How ironic is that?
Yeah, she was playing. We've had our baby's 15 months old, and she's out there making plays and getting after it. She's the competitive one out of both of us. She kicks my butt in golf and ping pong and pickleball. And,
So Bronson, you're how tall are you?
I'm 6'7".
6'7", right?
Yeah.
And how tall's Hillary?
She's like 6'1", a little over 6'1".
6'1".
Yeah.
All-American, professional athlete, football, basketball. Hillary can play any sport. And so if you don't think Taika is going to be good, you're all wrong.
We look forward to many more Kaufusis coming through BYU. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was always fun to be
Merry
on.
Christmas to you and
Thanks,
your gang.
Bronson. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, thanks.
Bronson Kaufusi. Again, we used the word menace when he was on the field playing football at BYU and then into the NFL and a great attitude. Just love having him here.
Yep.
Great insights.
Thanks, Bronson. Bronson's he truly is family. So Bronson, I've known his mom since she was a little girl because his mom was Craig Garrick, our captain from my team's sister, and so I met his mom long ago, Michelle, our mayor for a number of years here, and the Garricks and the Kaufusis have been family to us forever. So always love having Bronson in. Yeah, we should have been recruiting Hillary and Bronson's kids in the womb.
I hope we are. Right. I hope we're doing it right now. Jeff Hansen's going to join us in just a couple of minutes, and we'll break down BYU's record setting recruiting class, best in program history. But we do have some news we want to share with you. We're talking about some things that we've got cooking up that we think the Wise Guys community around the world, and especially here in Utah, will really like.
Yeah, over the past few years, this show has just grown far beyond anything that we ever expected. Thousands of you have joined us live. Thousands more watch the replays and listen to the podcasts. We love the discussions and the conversations. They just keep getting better every week. The guests have been phenomenal for us. It's been an incredible run.
So what we've heard is that folks want more ways to connect with us and with BYU fans, with athletes and coaches. And so not just in the show, but in other places. And so, you know what we've done? We found other places.
Yeah, so we're excited to announce a brand new community experience called Cougar Tribe. That we're going to partner with to give people what they've been asking us for, and that's a little more connection to one another, not just here, but a chance to get together in some instances face-to-face, but electronically, certainly from around the world.
Our friend Jared Stewart is the mastermind here with his organization, Tribe House. He's created a great community model built around tribes, which places where people with shared interests can connect, collaborate, and belong. And so we're creating a tribe.
Yeah. So Jared, he came to us and said, "Hey, I've got this idea for a Cougar focused tribe as part of Tribe House inside of his network." And it clicked immediately with us. Immediately, it was Cougar Tribe. So it's going to be called Cougar Tribe. It'll give us a home base where fans can interact with us all week long. We'll have exclusive content that will be there on Cougar Tribe that you won't be able to get anyplace else, which will be really, really cool. You'll be able to ask questions, meet other people, participate in challenges, take advantage of all kinds of cool perks that come with being a part of Cougar Tribe.
Here's the cool thing. It's free.
Yeah.
It's not going to cost you anything, and anybody can be a part of it. And that's our favorite price, free. It's the cost of the show, which is free.
Yeah.
Thanks to these sponsors that help make it possible.
That's right. And here's the other thing. If you live here in Utah, we host occasional in-person get-togethers with Cougar Tribe meetings and events. So if you're local, or if you happen to be in town and you're not local and part of Cougar Tribe, there's opportunities to come hang out, network, meet athletes and coaches, be part of action, all the action face-to-face with us.
And then a lot of that will be live streamed too for everybody around the world that takes in Wise Guys that would like to take in a little bit more. Our Cougar Tribe is going to officially launch on January 13th. We'll roll out some more details as we get closer, including how to sign up and what all that entails. But that's coming, and we're going to have dinners. We're going to have hangouts with some of the athletes that you want to meet, and then, of course, we'll be there, too, and we want to hang out with you. So the Cougar Tribe is coming to the Wise Guys. We're really excited about it.
We're really excited about it. It's really cool. It's going to be a place where you kind of check in every day. It's like, hey, I wonder what's going on in Cougar Tribe. Is there anybody I want to talk to? I wonder if there's some content there that I want to take in, and we'll be a part of that. It'll be really, really fun. It doesn't cost anything. It's a structure for what we've Jared was brilliant. He brought us a structure for what we've been talking about. Like, how do we connect this Wise Guys family on a more routine basis? And he came to us with this, and we were like, yeah.
So we're doing it.
We're
doing it. Looking forward to it in 2026. Our next guest is a friend of the program who has his pulse on BYU football recruiting more so than anybody else we know. So just days after the National Signing Day, we're thrilled to welcome Jeff Hansen back from CougarInsider.com, which is part of the 24/7 Sports Network. You look just like you looked the last time you were on, because Blaine and I look so much older, so congratulations on that.
How did you maintain your youth since like a couple months ago?
You know, I don't know. I might look a little young, but I'm still bald and a little overweight, so that's not great for me. I could look better.
Look, it's all framing. It's all framing on a Zoom. We're so glad to have you back. Let's get your reaction to that Big 12 championship game. What'd you think?
Hey, that was a bummer, wasn't it? It's one of those things that in the moment, it's deflating. It's, you know, it sucks to go through it. It sucks to see that the loss come out. The hopes are so high. But as you get further and further removed from it, you could start to identify the lessons that come from a game like that. And for me, being the recruiting guy that I am, I love those lessons because it really highlights where BYU still needs to get better. And look, I think what we learned from that game, BYU is a very, very good team, a great team even, but they're not quite to that elite level yet. There's still some gaps that I think need to be filled. I don't think BYU is as far off as maybe the score would lead you to believe. I think, Bear's injury and some things that happened in that game, certainly play a role there. But there's some areas that BYU needs to get a little bit better, and I think that became really clear really in both of those games against Texas Tech this year.
Results aside, because nobody wants to have that where you turn the ball over that many times down near your goal line, because that results in that kind of score. But let's throw that aside. Does playing in a game like that have an impact short and long term on recruiting?
I think so. I think so. It isn't a permanent thing, and it's not necessarily a sure thing. You look at Iowa State last year. They were there, and they were the team that came up just short a year ago, and then they kind of fell off a little bit this year, right? But it's one of those things that if it's used right, and there's no reason to doubt this coaching staff, Kalani Sitake, Jay Hill, and Aaron Roderick, they tend to use things right when they get the opportunity to use things. If it's used right, absolutely, it can be a catalyst to bigger and better things. I go back and I look at Utah in the Pac-12 a few years ago. They had to lose one before they started to win one, right? And I think that BYU, you look at what they did a year ago, they came up just short, found those things that they needed to tweak. They got one step further this year. I think there's a lot of reasons to be confident that they can take another step forward in 2026.
Jeff, before we hit you up on recruiting, what are the areas as you watch that game? What are 2 or 3 of them that you go, problem area, or at least fixable areas that they should work on through recruiting?
Yeah, to me, it starts on both lines of scrimmage. I think the offensive and defensive line, when you play Texas Tech, especially when you go up against that defensive line, they're arguably the best in the country. It really highlights that, okay, BYU's offensive line has made a lot of strides. There are some gaps there. It was tough to contain that pass rush with just 5 guys. BYU had to play a lot of max protect, bring in extra guys to help block 4. That limits the receivers that are downfield. You got 3-man routes going into 7-man secondaries. That's going to be tough for any offense. So to me, it highlighted that, okay, the offensive line still has another gear to get to. And then I don't think BYU's defensive line has been poor by any stretch of the imagination. But when you see what a defensive line can do, like Texas Tech, man, that's the ultimate cheat code if you're a defensive coordinator, to just line up 4 and win one-on-one battles, and you can disrupt any offensive game plan. So to me, it's the trenches that I think BYU has made a lot of progress in the last several years. There's still another gear or 2 that they can find. And when I watch Texas Tech and I watch how that comes together, it makes everything else a lot easier. That Texas Tech O-line, they played really well. Baron Morton, a couple of years ago, he wasn't the guy that was throwing for 3,000 yards. I mean, he wasn't this guy that is a potential NFL guy that's going to go and lead Texas Tech through the playoffs. He just didn't look like that kind of quarterback, but you give him a really stout offensive line, and all of a sudden it's a lot easier for him to be a really, really good quarterback. So it's the trenches on both sides of the ball that I think BYU needs to take the biggest step going forward.
Yeah, that's a great point. Mm-hmm. When we think of Ohio State, we think of them dominating on both sides. That's why they're so good every year, no matter who the quarterback is. Does BYU have, because great recruiting class, we're going to talk about this just a little bit here, probably next thing we talk about actually, but they do have some young guys that are brand new in that program, especially on the defensive line, that Nusi Tamapea, for instance, who all of a sudden just started to play in the second half of the season as a true freshman. You talk to Gary Anderson, he's like, this is Kyle Van Noy. Hey, Texas Tech doesn't have anybody better than Kyle Van Noy on that defensive line. So there are some young players that are just coming back from missions and just coming now. But to be good on D-line, you need a lot of those bodies, right? So you got to provide depth over these next couple of years, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think you hit it on the head, Blaine, that the edge rushers look really good. There's a lot of Tamoy Pao, you mentioned, Hunter Clegg, Tausili Akana. There's a lot of really good players coming off the edge. I think BYU's got some work to do on the interior of the defensive line, and that's going to help out those edge rushers a ton. But you can see the progress that they've made. They're certainly on the right track. So I feel good about where the defensive line is headed. Just a few pieces away before you go, okay, this can go toe-to-toe with anybody.
Jeff, the Cougars announced their 2026 class last week in the midst of Kalani's extension and the big championship game, and it kind of was just wedged in there. So we wanted to get our expert back on with us and talk about it. 19 additions, projected to be the highest rated class in program history. Is that the case?
Yeah, that is the case. Really a fantastic recruiting class by all measures for BYU. You know, I think a lot of fans, when we think of really good recruiting classes in BYU history, you immediately go back to 2010 with Jake Heaps and Ross Oppo, and that was a really good class. Bronson Kaufusi was part of that class. It was a fantastic recruiting class, and this one's better. I mean, this one has twice as many 4-star prospects in it. Everybody on the list, really from top to bottom, has Power 4 offers, has a multitude of offers that BYU is competing against. This was a great recruiting class for BYU, and it had to be. I've been talking about the class of 2026 for a couple of years because you could see it come down the pipeline that, holy cow, there's a lot of really good players inside the state of Utah. There's a lot of good players who are members of the church. BYU has to capitalize. They'd made some incremental progress in the previous 2 or 3 classes, but you have to throw incremental out the window when you have an opportunity like BYU had in this class. And all the credit to the coaching staff. They absolutely delivered and hit a home run in this class.
And we're talking to BYU football recruiting guru Jeff Hansen. Hey, he's not just a BYU football recruiting guru. He's everybody recruiting guru, I think. CougarInsider.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. On the Wise Guys tonight, presented by Brady Plus, Eddie, Mountain America Credit Union. Some of the key additions that are coming to BYU: 4 stars, Ryder Lyons, Brock Harris, Ty, is it Gotch?
It's Gotchke, isn't it?
Is it Gotchke, Jeff? I think it is.
Getchy.
Oh, Getchy.
Yeah,
Okay.
Getchy.
Bot Mully Atalo, the Pula twins, who are last-minute addition to this class, flipped from Utah. Lots of key additions. Any surprises in this class?
You know, I think that the Pula twins, just given the timing of when they formally committed to BYU, there was some smoke and some whispers for really probably 6 weeks or so leading up to signing day, but nothing was official until their signing day ceremony, which really was the last day of the signing day window. So you got through the big hurrah on Wednesday, still had to wait a couple more days before you officially heard word on the Pulas. So that's probably the most surprising, and man, that's a really big addition. If you're a high school football fan in the state of Utah, you know who the Pulas are. Keenan Pula, fantastic safety prospect. I think I put him on the defensive side of the ball. Had one of the most ridiculous interceptions at any level of football that I've ever seen.
Right.
In the state playoffs, that was unreal. And then Jaron Pula. A lot of people, I think you look at production and you want to compare him to Puka. He reminds me a little bit more of Simi Fehoko. A few years older than Puka was, just the way that he plays the game. But, whoever you want to compare him to, just a dynamic wide receiver, a guy that could come in and make a difference right away.
Was that the wrestling match with the rival Utes, was the Pulas? And is that what makes it sting a little more, is that in the end they came down here?
I think so. I think if you're Utah and you see what they did at Rice-Eccles Stadium in the state playoffs, and then to have them go to your rival down south, that hurts a little bit more for Utah. And then, anytime you steal a recruit from Utah, that's great for BYU. But when you steal a couple of guys that are 4-star guys that could play early in their careers, that makes it a little bit sweeter for sure.
Speaking of earlier, is there any in this class that you look and go, wow, this guy's going to play right away?
Bot Mully Talo is probably the guy that seems the most likely to me. And it's kind of interesting because you don't really expect true freshman offensive linemen to play right away very often, especially ones that are so new to the position. Bot Mully Talo was he had NFL potential on the defensive line. And then going into his senior year of high school, decided, hey, I want to play offensive tackle. I'm looking at all these guys like Penei Sewell that are making all this money in the NFL as offensive tackles. Let me play that side of the ball. So he's new to the offensive line, and my goodness, he looked great. He's one of the few people in the world that could put 40 pounds of weight on and somehow get in better shape as he did it.
Wow.
And, man, he looked great. And when you consider that it was his first year playing offensive line full-time, man, the ceiling is just sky high for Bot. Kalani talked about him a little bit on signing day as a guy that they've been super impressed with as he's transitioned over to the offensive line. He'll enroll early and get to work with the guys in the weight room this January. So there's a lot of reason to be optimistic about Mulitalo. Whether he plays inside or outside, I don't know at BYU, but certainly a guy that fits the bill of an early playing time contender.
That'd be great.
Jeff, forecast the future here. A lot of these kids are mission kids. Ryder Lyons, Brock Harris, McKay Madsen is in Argentina. He'll be back right about the same time as these guys. When you look at 28, 29, and beyond, and you look at this team this year in the Big 12 championship, what's your forecast? Where can BYU go?
Yeah, I think that this year really could just be the start of things to come for BYU. This recruiting class, you mentioned, McKay Madsen and guys like that. That's the foundation, right? I mean, those are the players that are going to lead BYU in years to come. Anytime you have a quarterback, you've got a shot. And Ryder Lyons is as play ready, as college ready of a high school quarterback as I've seen in a really, really long time. Everything he does at a high level. He's really athletic. He gets rid of the ball quickly. His delivery is fast. I mean, he does all the things that you want a college quarterback to do. So you plug him in and you're going to have a shot. And then you factor in some of the guys around him, like McKay Madsen, Kalani, big offensive lineman that signed a year ago. And then some of the guys that are there, the Brock Harrises and the Getchys of this class. This offense could be really, really good. And then the defense is really strong as well. Opeti Mawala is one of the best defensive ends out of the state of Utah, best defensive ends out west. I think he had 20 sacks on the year for Orem. I mean, every single play, it seems like he's getting into the backfield. There's a lot of pieces to be really, really excited about. Now, they got to stay healthy and develop and all those good things. But it's the clay, right? You talk about, you want good clay to work with, and then you can make a vase. BYU's got a lot of good clay in the pipeline right now.
And I tell you what, I want to throw to Brock Harris. Like that's a big old target they can run. That would be fun. Hey, what do you think about this BYU Georgia Tech matchup? Is this a good opportunity for BYU?
I think so. I really love Brent Key and what he's done down there at Georgia Tech. He's taken that program, and it's felt a lot like what Kalani does for BYU. He's a Georgia Tech guy, played at Georgia Tech, understands the vibe that comes with being a yellow jacket, and he's really kind of invigorated that fan base. He's excited to play this game, and the way that the Pop-Tart Bowl kind of unfolded with Notre Dame bowing out, I think you're excited to play a team who's also excited to play. And I think it's going to be a really good game. Georgia Tech's really good, man. They run the football really, really well. So that defense is going to be tested for BYU. I think there's opportunities for BYU's offense to move the ball and score some points. It should be a lot of fun. I love the Pop-Tart Bowl. If you're not going to be in the playoff, I think the Pop-Tart Bowl is the best bowl out there. Should be a lot of fun for everybody.
That'd be great.
Let's finish with this one, Jeff. Now that you know in the recruiting world, as you babysit it and watch it, that Kalani Sitake is here for the long haul, and that, as he explained it, his new contract is going to allow his staff to be here for the long haul because he can pay them more, and then his NIL pool is deeper because there's a larger commitment to that as far as getting players up to par and going after other ones. Forecast what's ahead for BYU football now that you know all of that's in place and the Kalani is here for the long haul.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing, especially that NIL pool that you mentioned, Dave, I think the biggest thing with that is that the stars of this team that are young, the Bear Bachmeiers and Falatau Satawala, guys like that, you feel confident that you're going to keep them. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast in 2025, that if there's a really good young player, you have to expect that they're getting offers to go somewhere else. That's just the way that this works now, for better or for worse. So if BYU has that increased NIL pool, that's the biggest signal to me that there's continuity on the coaching staff and they can pay the guys that they know are really good that they want to keep around. So that's huge. And then on the recruiting side, they can be really aggressive in the transfer portal. They had a lot of success last year with guys that they had previously recruited who are maybe members of the church that found their way back to BYU. Looking at the transfer portal class right now and guys that maybe, teams are expecting to go, I don't know that there's going to be that many opportunities for guys like an Andrew Gentry or a Keanu Tanavasa that have those natural ties to BYU. So that means that BYU is going to have to just, go the old-fashioned recruiting route, and part of that is that NIL equation. Really helps out in the transfer portal. You look at what Texas Tech did. So much of that was because of their success in the portal. This allows BYU to play that game a little bit. And BYU is never going to be Texas Tech that's just out being the highest bidder for anybody that they want. But they've got to be competitive. And so they have that at their disposal more than they did, before Kalani's extension. That's a big win for the Cougars.
Hey, before we let you go, I got to give you one recruiting class that nobody ever looks at to just think about because it's so far back, and I usually don't do this, but what about that 1981 recruiting class? Think about this. I'm going to name some names, and I want you to think about this because these are guys that just played forever.
Lay them on us.
Kyle Morrell, Kurt Govea, Glenn Kozlowski, Robbie Bosco, Leon White, Louis Wong, Kerry Whittingham, all in that class.
That's a good class.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some of the who's who of BYU legacy.
Well,
right?
and think about Kurt Govea and Leon White played 20-something years together in the National Football League. I just think about that class. You know what that class, when those guys that didn't redshirt were seniors, won a national championship. So great recruiting class. We're talking about this 26 class. That should pay off in 2 or 3 years down the road.
Hey, Jet on the live stream say, hey, Jeff, what are you hearing about Whittingham and retirement? And since Kyle played at BYU, he can be a wise guy's
That's
topic
right.
here on
Absolutely. He's just my roommate, too. So there you go.
What are you hearing on the recruiting front as far as Whittingham's future?
I am far from a Utah source, so nobody quote me. But I would expect Kyle Whittingham back on the sidelines for at least another year.
That's kind of what we're hearing too.
Yeah, I think a lot of recruits are hearing very similar. Who knows what 2 years down the road looks like. And look, between us and everybody who's listening, I think Kyle keeps coming back until he beats BYU again. I don't think he's ever going out with a BYU loss as that last game. So hopefully you see Kyle Whittingham on the sideline for a real long time.
Yeah, 10 more years. Why not?
Wow.
Put BYU, get a run together.
Yeah, and my question is, how long does Morgan stay okay with that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he's been waiting to be the coach in waiting for a long wait, right?
But Jeff, you're not a Utah source. However, since you have your pulse on recruiting, you are in the know.
You know who's going where. We know this.
We appreciate having you on the show for all of those reasons and your insight and your wit. So have a happy holiday, you and your family, and thank you for being with us. And we hope to see you again soon.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see you.
Thanks, Jeff.
That's Jeff Hansen, 24/7 Sports, part of that network, BYU, CougarInsiders.com. He is, and we say it, we keep saying it, he's good at what he does.
Yeah, he sure is.
Good at what he does. And
great. He's got great sources, and he just, you know what? He works really hard.
Yeah.
Like he's constantly working and evaluating and using his sources to figure out who's going where. He does a great job.
And I loved his insights on the aftermath of Kalani's new deal and what that could mean to recruits. And then also, hey, BYU's flying high right now, but they're going up a little.
Yeah, the trajectory is
they're going to keep going up with some of these guys.
Remember, they've had a couple of good recruiting classes leading up to this one. There's kids coming off of missions. There's some defensive linemen, he was talking about D tackles, that are coming off their missions in the next month or two that will play next fall and shore up that inside, those D tackle positions. Because what happens at BYU a lot is, guys go and then they come back and folks are like, well, where did this guy come from?
Yeah.
I don't remember this guy.
It's been 2 years.
Well, guess what? He was a huge recruit 2.5 years ago. You just forgot about him, right?
He's been off teaching the gospel in Spanish somewhere.
That's right. So
big things happening for BYU recruiting. And the beauty of that interview is it's got nothing to do with this team that's 11-2.
That's right.
And ranked number 12 in the country. This is all about trying to maintain that down the road. Speaking up ahead of the road, let's talk about Cougars in the NFL.
Yes.
Tyler Algier will be on national TV on Prime on Thursday as the Falcons take on the Bucks. We still want to see him get more carries or get traded to a team that can make him the
let him be the feature
back.
guy. Yeah, he's good enough to be a feature. So on Sunday, lots of games. The Bills are at the Patriots. Kairos Tonga is still with the Patriots or Ravens. And I mentioned Kyle Van Noy a little bit ago against the Bengals, and Ryan Rico, the best punter in the National Football League. The Chargers are at the Chiefs.
So that's a game where if Kyle does his job, we'll see Rico a lot.
That's true. That's right, because you can get the Bengals off the field, and then you have to punt it.
Okay.
Chargers and the Chiefs. Chiefs are got backs against the wall. Kingsley Suamataia and Andy Reid.
Something's wrong with the Chiefs. I watched it last night. They just
I've
look
never
terrible.
seen their best. Rice and
Kelsey
dropping balls all over the place.
on fourth downs.
Balls they never drop.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on.
Keaton Slovis and the Cardinals at Texas, at the Texans in Texas.
Yeah.
Zane Anderson, who continues to play well on special teams. He and Chris Brooks. The Packers at the Broncos. They got a big win against Chicago. So keep your eye on the Packers moving forward.
That's right. The Panthers and the Saints, Taysom Hill and Michael Davis with the Saints, and the Lions at the Rams. Puka Nacua, the leading receiver in the National Football League. The leading receiver and the best receiver in the NFL right now.
Tyler Batty's going to be on national TV Sunday night on NBC as the Vikings play the Cowboys. Sunday night football. So look for Tyler Sunday night. And then the Dolphins are at the Steelers next Monday. Zach Wilson, we know he's on the sideline. He's made a lot of money doing nothing.
Yeah.
I know he wants to do something.
It's a good gig if you can get it. But
he's got a good gig. He's got a Ty Detmer gig going on right now.
That's true. Ty made it and played in the league for more than 15 years. Yeah, 14 years doing that. Whenever we talk about Keaton Slovis being at the Cardinals, I always reflect back and go, how good could BYU have been that year had Keaton Slovis stayed healthy the whole year?
Well, they were 5-2 when he got hurt.
I think it was shaping up to be a really special year, and then he just didn't stay healthy.
Yeah, got hurt in the Texas game.
Yeah.
And then they didn't win again.
He's a really good player. Like, it's obviously he's a really good player.
And a great guy. We got a chance to know him.
Keaton.
Just love the Slovises. Let's do the Relight Athlete of the Week, presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at Redmond.com. Tonight is our pleasure to announce Olivia Hamlin as this week's honoree.
Yeah, Olivia is a freshman guard from Santa Clara, Utah. That's the home of the Fry family. That's my daughter. My daughter and her husband, Blair Fry. They live in Santa Clara. Big time Santa Clara folks. She hit the game-winning shot as time expired to give BYU a 56-54 victory against Washington State last Wednesday at the Delta Center. Hamlin finished with 14 points. And then on Saturday at Portland, she scored 12 points during BYU's 87-63 victory. The Cougars are 9-1, and they're playing without their star guard, Delaney Gibb. She's out with a leg injury. In her absence, Hamlin has stepped up. She's averaging 12 points a game and 5 boards as a freshman.
While playing for Snow Canyon High School, she was the Utah 4A Player of the Year twice. 2024 and 2025. She led the state in scoring both years and holds the Utah High School girls basketball all-time record with 465 steals. And we're doing something special. We don't do it for everybody, but because of Olivia's being the Relight Athlete of the Week, you and I are calling Thursday night's BYU Idaho State game, which she'll be in the starting lineup.
Well, and Olivia is fearless. I've been to a couple games this year and watched. And by the way, she's Delaney's roommate. So two great guards rooming together. Last year's Big 12 Freshman of the Year, and this year, Olivia as a freshman really doing great things. Olivia Hamlin is our Relight Athlete of the Week, presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at Redmond.com.
Join us tomorrow night for After Further Review. It's the season finale. It's kind of sad, but we're going to break down all the plays in the Big 12 Championship, those that worked and those that didn't, and we'll explain why. We'll also take an early look at Georgia Tech and showcase some of our big favorite moments of the season. Tomorrow at 5 Mountain Time, that's when we stream on the BYU TV app and ESPN Plus with David Nixon as he joins us. We kicked off AFR in late July, and we finish here in mid-December as they prepare for the Pop-Tarts Bowl. We love that show. By the way, it's at BYUtv.com or BYUtv.org on the app all the time. So your off-season football fix, you can go back there.
Right.
But I think we've done that for 12 years now, and it's my favorite show that we do because it's highlight-driven. We have expert analysis with you and Nick's. It's fast-paced, and by the way, the last 2 years we've had 22 happy shows to just 4 explanations of defeats.
The happy ones are great. You know what, though? Like, the way we look at this show, all of us have this goal, and that is we want people to be able to come watch the show and go, okay, that makes sense to me. I understand why that play worked. I understand why that one didn't. I understand the game a little bit better. I understand when the announcers are saying, hey, they weren't gap sound, what that means. And so what we're trying to do is simplify football for everybody and give you the knowledge of what the coaches are looking at only in simple terms. So when you watch a game, you can enjoy it more. We have so much fun with that show.
Yeah. So tomorrow night, the season finale of After Further Review on the BYU TV app and ESPN Plus. And if you can't watch it tomorrow, you can watch it anytime.
That's right.
Because it just stays there. We do have some news. We talked a moment ago about Cougar Tribe, which is coming, and we're excited about that. But you can help support Wise Guys by signing up for our ad-free podcast. So no commercials, no interruptions, just the full conversations the way that they were heard on the live show, on the live stream here. $8 a month or $7 a month if you do the yearly plan. That's $2 or less per episode. And if you are in there and you hear the ads, it's worth $2.
Yeah.
Just to make them go away.
And by the way, those aren't our ads. Those are the ones that the streaming services put in. So with Christmas coming up, this is a perfect gift for the Wise Guys fan in your life. So getting it's easy, or gifting it's easy. So you select Give as a Gift. It goes straight to their inbox. And so you can listen ad-free on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and most other apps. When you subscribe, you'll get a special link that plugs it right into your favorite podcast player. So everything works just like it does now, only without the ads.
Without the ads.
Or you can come live stream with us and not have the ads.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you can do both. You watch the live stream and then when you listen.
And it's because of those 4 things right behind Dave's shoulder that you see in the picture right now, because those sponsors make it so that the live stream is free to everybody.
Yeah. And throw in Redmond in there as well, and BYU Pathway Worldwide. By the way, our campus notes are presented by BYU Pathway Worldwide. BYU Pathway makes truly affordable, fully online, spiritually based college degrees accessible to folks worldwide through greatly reduced tuition, weekly peer gatherings, and English support, helping students earn sooner, increase their income, and deepen their faith right there from their own living rooms most of the time. Learn more at byupathway.edu. It is a huge week for men's hoops.
Yeah, let's start with them. 7-1 right now in the season. Their AP top. They went down one. I don't understand why. They went down to number 10 in the AP poll. Currently ranked from the Big 12. Arizona's number 1 in the country.
Hey, congrats to those guys jumping in there.
Houston's 7. BYU's 10. Texas Tech is 16. Kansas is 19. So there's five ranked teams. The net ranking, which is the primary sorting tool for the NCAA tournament. And by the way, that's what college football needs to go to. Yeah. They need to go to a net, which puts in multiple, no subjectivity data in, and they use that, and they rank everybody based on the net, and then they make adjustments where they say, wait a minute, their 2 starting guards just got hurt, and they've lost 2 games in a row, so we've got to move them down, or these 2 teams just played so let's separate those into 2 different brackets. But the net is the primary sorting tool. The College Football Playoff Committee needs to have something like that. And, oh, by the way, stop having a weekly update. Do not even reveal it until the last game.
Yeah.
Because then it would eliminate this Notre Dame thing. Oh, you're great. You're in. Oh, you're not. We changed our mind.
Yeah.
So just have one show that reveals the college football playoff, put 16 teams in, and have a net just like basketball.
Yeah, that's a great idea that'll never happen because advertisers pay for those shows. So then they just
stupid.
They might add more shows.
Yeah.
They might put out a college football playoff poll in July and then just keep going.
So basically, if you're a net ranking of 8, you're going to be a 2 seed in the tournament. So BYU sits as a 2 seed right now.
So we'll keep an eye on that number.
Yeah, there you go.
Cougars routed Cal Baptist 91-60 at the Delta Center. Interesting, they slipped a spot in the AP top 10 to 10 after beating a team by 31 who was 8-1 on the season. AJ had 22, 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Keba Keita was awesome. 23 points and 14 rebounds.
So good. And there was a play in that game. You and I were calling that game, and I just looked at you and went, what? Did AJ just tip a ball, get it in transition, and pick the ball up at the 3-point line, take 2 steps, and shoot a layup?
Yeah, that's exactly what
There's like 10 players in the world that can do that.
History will be made tomorrow. Here's a December game on ESPN in the middle of the week in New York City, and BYU is at Madison Square Garden against Clemson at 4:30 Mountain Time on ESPN and BYU Radio. Greg and Mark will be there on the radio call. The previous BYU games at the Garden, the 2016 NIT semifinals, that's the year I was back there, and it looked like a dump. And then the longer I was there that night, by the time I left, I thought it was one of the coolest places in the world.
So many great events have been there. The 1951 and 66 NIT championships were there. BYU was in those.
Yeah.
Right. And then UC Riverside at BYU is this Saturday, 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus. That's you and I calling that one.
So once they come home from the Garden, then they're back in the Marriott Center finally for the first time in like a month. And then we'll be there on the call for that one.
We got that.
Women's basketball is 9-1. That matches their best start in program history.
Right.
They beat Portland on the road Saturday night, 87-53. I thought that was interesting because I was monitoring it on my phone. Mariah Hudgens had a cool 20, but it was 33-32 at halftime. And then BYU outscored the Pilots 54-21 in the second half.
Yeah, amazing. And then BYU beat Washington State 56-54 at the Delta Center on Olivia Hamlin's shot at the buzzer. And remember, Delaney Gibbs still out with that leg injury.
And they just keep winning.
They keep winning. So this week, Idaho State's at BYU Thursday at 7. That's on ESPN+. Dave and I have the call on that one.
That'll be fun. We don't often get a call at women's games together. We fill in at different times.
Tournament time we have in the past, but not. Typically, you're filling in and I'm not, or I'm filling in and you're not. But this week, we're both filling in.
So, we'll have a lot of fun with that.
UTEP's at BYU on Saturday at 1, ESPN+. I guess that Spencer and Kristen will be back for that one.
Yeah, and credit to Lee Camard. We mentioned that BYU's matched its best start in program history through 10 games, most of it without their star player. So Lee and the staff are off to a great way to start.
Yep.
It's 9-1. That one loss to 17th ranked Vanderbilt on a neutral floor where they led by 16, and they just couldn't hang on. But this is a surprise team in the Big 12 so far, this BYU women's basketball program. So we'll see them on Thursday. Hope you all join us, and we'll watch them all together.
Yeah, it'll be great. Women's volleyball. We get to women's volleyball. 22-9. Right? NCAA tournament, Cal Poly rallies to upset BYU 3-2 in the first round.
That was a bummer.
Yeah.
That was a bad loss.
But guess what? All of the starters are scheduled to return next year for BYU. So this was a young team learning. Sully Davis was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year on the all-rookie team. She was phenomenal. All Big 12 first team, Davis, Alex Bauer, the sophomore, Brielle Kamavar, the junior. All Big 12 second team, Claire Little Chambers, who's a junior.
She was pretty good. She got hurt in that match. They weren't quite the same after that and lost it in the fifth set. And we did learn that Bauer is going into the transfer portal, which is a bit of a surprise, and she'll finish her career elsewhere. That's a big loss for BYU.
We haven't talked sometimes people go in the transfer portal and come back when they don't, but who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Cross country, Jane Hedegren is the Big 12 runner of the year and newcomer of the year. And Diljit Taylor is the Big 12 coach of the year for the third straight year. We congratulate both of them. We'll have them both on the show as we get into the new year. And today, by the way, the women's athlete of the week, that's Hedegren by U.S. Track and Field because of what she did over the weekend in her first indoor run.
Unbelievable. So she breaks the 5,000 meter NCAA record in her first indoor race for BYU.
Shatters it.
First collegiate indoor race. The 14.44 or 1444.79 is the youngest American woman to break 15 minutes and the second fastest American woman ever indoors.
That's just amazing. That's just amazing.
She's a freshman.
And we had folks on the stream going, well, she's obviously going to be the Relight athlete of the week. She probably could win it every week, but there's some other phenomenal athletes doing great things, and Olivia got it this week. But, man, Hedegren is fantastic. On the men's side, Carter Cutting finished in fourth place in the mile. His time of 3:56.79 is the third fastest all time at BYU. So up next is the BYU December Invitational coming up the 10th and 11th at the Smith Fieldhouse, so later this week. So I think, and I'm not sure how it's all set up, but if you want to get there and have Jane run past you, like in a flash, this would be the event. The
week to go do it,
because it's at the Smith Fieldhouse. But just an amazing competitor, and she's surrounded by really good runners. BYU's good in cross country. They're good indoors. They're good outdoors. This is a phenomenal running program.
Before Jane is done, potentially, Dave, we've been thinking about this. She has the potential to be maybe one of the most decorated athletes in BYU history before it's all said and done. If she can stay healthy and continue to progress, she's got all the potential in the world to run on a worldwide scale. Olympics, world championships, it's all in front of her if they can keep her healthy and keep progressing. Crazy talent.
So we congratulate her, and our campus notes are presented by BYU Pathway Worldwide. On this day, on December 8th, 1930.
The Broadway Theater opens in New York City.
How about that? On this day in 1930. On this day in 1941, President Franklin D. Roosevelt delivers his famous Day of Infamy speech to Congress on the day after the bombing of Pearl Harbor.
That's right. In 1961, Wilt Chamberlain scores 78 points as Philly beats the Lakers 151-147 in 3 overtimes.
He had 78.
Remember that night he scored 100? What was up with that?
I don't know. No defense.
That's right.
On this day in 2011, NBA and the Players Union end their 161-day lockout.
I remember
and they were about to be forgotten by America, so...
People were moving on.
Yeah,
so
shouldn't do that.
In 2024, on this day, December 8th, Taylor Swift performs her 149th and final show on the Erase Tour. Record $2 billion in revenue from that tour.
So that Eras tour, it took me about 2 years to figure out what in the world was it. Is it Eras?
Is it
what
Eras?
is the event? It's like her eras of all her music.
Oh, it's Eras. So why did she do ERA?
Thing. I don't know.
Oh, so it's Eras.
Eras
but
tour.
Shouldn't it be with a comma?
It feels like it should, but it made $2 billion, so I guess it doesn't matter.
$2 billion in revenue.
Birthdays.
She's good, by the way, in case you're wondering.
She's good. She's good. On this day in 1765. Now, who would be born in 1765 that would impact all of our lives?
Even today, yeah.
Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin. I got a cotton shirt on. We're
cotton.
surrounded in cotton. How about that?
1925, Sammy Davis Jr. Who can take a sunrise? He was the Candyman.
1943, Jim Morrison of the Doors. He was not the Candyman.
No, he was not.
But he had his own place in rock and roll history.
1964, Terry Hatcher. So, actress and sitcom star.
Appreciated her cameo on Seinfeld.
That's right.
December 8th, deaths. It was on this day in 1980, during Monday Night Football, when Howard Cosell announced John Lennon had been shot and killed in New York.
Yeah, crazy.
On this day in 1980.
In 2016, on this day, December 8th, John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth, passed away.
Our Wise Guy's inspirational quote of the week is from John Glenn, who said,
"If there's one thing I've learned in my years on this planet, it's that the happiest, most fulfilled people I've known are those who devoted themselves to something bigger and more profound than merely their own self-interest."
That from a guy who left the planet and then came
back to the planet. Yes, he did.
John Glenn. Our thanks to Bronson Kaufusi and recruiting guru Jeff Hansen. They were phenomenal tonight.
Yeah, they were really good. Next week, we have a real fun. Ace DeBonsa, the father of BYU freshman phenom AJ DeBonsa, and BYU Pathway Worldwide graduate Kyla Ford.
It's going to be interesting to have Ace here. He's been here before, but he sat over there, and AJ
was
sat here.
Yeah.
Well, now Ace is coming in, and
is he going to bring AJ and have him sit over there?
I don't know if he's going to or not.
AJ should support his dad the way his dad supported him.
He really should. But it'll be interesting to get Ace's perspective on why BYU and what the experiences has been so far for them. And as they prepare for Beyond. He's in New York, and we were texting earlier today, and he said, let's get this dub, because they're playing at Madison Square Garden tomorrow, and then we'll see him next Monday. He'll also answer some of your questions.
Right.
So Ace with us next week. That'll be a lot of fun. Here's where you can find us this week. I'm on Sports Nation tomorrow morning. You were on this morning.
I hosted this morning. You host tomorrow. You host Wednesday too, don't you?
Thursday.
Oh, tomorrow,
I'm hosting
Thursday.
And then we've got also on Thursday, women's basketball, Idaho State at BYU, 7 o'clock Mountain Time on ESPN Plus. We're both on the call there.
Right. Then Saturday night, we're both on the call together for the men's basketball.
From the very
game.
same place.
Yeah, BYU and UC Riverside, Saturday, 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus.
And then I'll be in the Deseret News throughout the week.
All week long.
It'll be interesting to finally have a home game for BYU at the Marriott Center. I'm trying to think of who it was before they skipped town. They've had like 6 straight. This will be their 6th neutral site game tomorrow night.
Well, and you and I did the game at the Delta Center, but when's the last game we did in the Marriott Center? Seems like it's been a long time.
Yeah, the fact that we can't even remember shows you.
We've done a couple of games in the Delta Center.
The place will be sold out Saturday night. They'll be eager to see the guys, especially after we expect them to beat Clemson tomorrow night.
Hopefully. We'll see.
You know, and having Kennard Davis back's huge.
My favorite thing I've ever done in Madison Square Garden, Billy Joel concerts.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Just seems natural that Billy Joel and Madison Square Garden go together, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He's a New York kid.
New York kid. So right there, and the cool thing about Madison Square Garden is you could miss it as you are in a cab driving by. It's like, there it is.
Right there by Penn Station.
And then you go in and you weave around the whatever, and then you come out and you're going, Here's the floor where Patrick Ewing was, where Joe Frazier fought, with the Beatles. I don't know if the Beatles played there, but here's where so much stuff happened.
So many big concerts have played in Madison Square Garden. It's over the years. It's been an amazing event.
And that's where the Cougars won the NIT a few generations ago, and where they're going to try to beat Clemson tomorrow. Jake Wallin is on Clemson. Remember, he was commit to BYU, and then Mark Pope and his staff kind of let him go after he got home from his mission, or toward the end of his mission. So he didn't come back to here, went to Utah, and then went in the portal, and now he's at Clemson. Now he'll play BYU tomorrow in New York. So
we'll watch
small
for that.
world.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Hey, want to remind you that Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, supplies plus support. Find out more at bradyplus.com.
And by Mountain America Credit Union, empowering dreams for over 80 years. Find out what they can do for you at macu.com, macu.com.
And by Eddie, HR and payroll software built for small businesses. See how Eddie can serve your team at Eddie.com.
Our Relight Athlete of the Week, Olivia Hamlin, presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at Redmond.com. We're finding out what it can do for us.
Yep. I've been using it.
And if you take the shot of Blaine, can we just get a shot of Blaine there for a sec? Look over your right shoulder.
There we go. And by the way,
There's all our Redmond products.
I highly recommend in the Relight, the pina colada is really good.
Yeah.
And then the strawberry lemonade is really good.
Okay.
So there you go.
Go for it.
Get your electrolytes and your salt and all the things you need. So
Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News. It's a busy week. It's a big week. We hope you enjoy all the things that the Cougars are up to. We'll see you throughout and all the different things we're doing. And then right back here next week.
See you next Monday night with Ace DeBonsa sitting right here.
Right there. It'll be fun. Thanks, everybody.